Hello everyone, I am Triveshika, Assistant Professor in Sri Bhagwan Mahavir Jain Evening College, Vivipuram. In this video, I'll be talking about how to verify and value different assets and liabilities. This is a part of 4th module in Principles and Practices of Auditing. The first item we have is land and building. We record land and building on the asset side of the balance sheet and it is the fixed assets. The auditor should see that the freehold lands are shown at cost, but the freehold buildings are shown at cost less depreciation. That is the original cost minus the depreciation. In case of a leasehold property, the auditor should see that it is shown in the balance sheet at cost less depreciation, which is written off to date. The auditor should examine the title deeds relating to the freehold lands and buildings, which must be in the name of the client only. He should also examine the lease deeds to ascertain the terms and conditions of the lease. In case of mortgage, the auditor should get a certificate from the mortgagee stating that the title deeds are in his possession. He should make proper enquiry to ensure that there is no second mortgage on the freehold property. That is, the freehold property can be mortgaged only once. Suppose the property is leasehold, it cannot be mortgaged to others, but the leasehold property can be sublet to others. And in case if it is sublet to others, the duty of an auditor is to examine the agreement with the subtenant. Next is plant and machinery. We record plant and machinery on the asset side of the balance sheet and it is fixed assets. An auditor should see that the plant and machinery are valued at cost less depreciation, which is written off to the date. If necessary, he should obtain a certificate from technically qualified persons for its valuation, and he must satisfy that the depreciation has been provided on a recognized method. If not, see that adequate disclosure has been made in the year of change of method along with the monetary impact. An auditor should conduct a spot inspection for physical existence of plant and machinery on random basis. To see the mortgage or charge on the plant and machinery, the auditor should look into the details given in the plant register. Then we have patents. Patents are recorded on the asset side of the balance sheet and it is an intangible assets. An auditor should see that the patents are valued at cost less depreciation. If the patents are revalued at the end of the year and if there is any fall in the value of patents, the depreciation is debited to the P&L account. Yes, if there is any fall in the patents, the depreciation is debited to the P&L account, and on the other hand, if there is any appreciation in the value of patents, then the appreciation is not taken into account. He should see that the patents are registered in the name of the client and they are the property of the client. If the business holds a number of patents, the auditor should call for a schedule of patents which is signed by a responsible official of the business. Next item is investments. We record investments on the asset side of the balance sheet. If investments are in large number, the auditor should obtain a schedule certified by a senior officer of the company, and such schedule received should include few things. like the name of the investment, the book value, the market price, and the purchase date of the investment, date of payment of interest, TDS. All these things must be included in the schedule received. Suppose if the investments are held as fixed assets, they must be valued at the cost price. And if the investments are held as current assets, they must be valued at cost price or market price, whichever is less. That is the least of the cost price or the market price. The auditor should ensure that the investments are registered in the name of the client only. In case of trustee, that is, if a trustee on behalf of the company holds the investment, the auditor should examine the trust deed, that is, the agreement. If the investments have been entrusted to a bank for safe custody, he should get a certificate from the bank. Cash in hand. We record cash in hand on the asset side of the balance sheet, and it is considered as current assets. The auditor should actually count the cash in hand by attending the business premises on the last day of the financial year. He should not only count the currency notes and coins, but also the stamps and IOUs. Here IOUs means I owe you, that is the receivables in hand, as they must be shown in the balance sheet. Like they form a part of cash balance which is to be shown in the balance sheet. He should physically count the stocks of unsold canteen tickets, lunch coupons, say for example like few corporates offers Sodexo passes. So those are the lunch coupons, as they are likely to be converted into cash. An auditor should take all the vouchers and books in his possession till the entire cash balance is verified thoroughly. After seeing cash in hand, now we'll see cash in bank. Cash in bank are also part of cash balances, and we record it on the asset side of the balance sheet as it is the current asset. In case there are accounts with more than one bank, the auditor should verify them individually. The auditors should obtain separate certificates for a fixed deposit account, current account, SB account, etc. from the bank to verify the balances of different bank accounts. The auditor should see that it is the bank balance as per the cash book and not the bank balance as per the passbook is shown in the balance sheet. That is, in the balance sheet, the auditor must check that bank balance as per cash book is recorded, but the bank balance as per the passbook is not recorded in the balance sheet. If some of the checks are more than 6 months old, then the auditor should make some enquiries. In case money is kept with other agencies, say agencies other than the scheduled banks, the nature of interest, if any, of a director or his relative in each of these agencies should be disclosed by the auditor in his audit report. When a large amount are held in foreign banks which are blocked under exchange control regulations, the auditor in his audit report should disclose this fact. Then we have goodwill. We record goodwill on the asset side of the balance sheet, and it is an intangible asset. If any goodwill is purchased along with the running business from the vendors, the auditor from the purchased agreement should verify the amount of goodwill. When a company has raised goodwill account by writing up the value of its assets, the auditor should examine the basis on which the assets have been revalued. The auditor, with the help of the partnership deed, must verify the amount of goodwill created in the books of a partnership firm on admission, on retirement, or death of a partner. The valuation of goodwill is a matter of financial policy which is to be decided by the management. Therefore, the duty of auditor is just to see that the goodwill is shown in the balance sheet at its proper value. Next item is debtors. Debtors is considered as current assets and it is recorded on the asset side of the balance sheet. An auditor should obtain and examine the schedule of debtors, which is signed by responsible officials of the business, containing the names and the amounts due from the debtors. The schedule of the balances of debtors should be checked with the sales ledger, sales returns book, and also with the cash book. The accuracy of the schedule of balances of debtors and the actual existence of debtors which we receive from the management should be verified with the confirmation letters received from the debtors. He should see that the book debts are shown in the balance sheet at their realizable value. If there are any doubtful debts, the auditor should see that adequate provision is made against them. Then we have stock. It is also called inventories. It is considered as current assets and it is recorded on the asset side of the balance sheet. An auditor should see that the basis of valuation has been consistently adapted from year to year to facilitate the comparison of profits of different years. As stock is a floating asset which is meant for resale, the auditor should see that whether the stock is valued at cost price or the market price, whichever is less. That is, the least of either the cost price or the market price is taken into consideration. He should check the values of few items in the stock sheets with their corresponding invoice prices and the current selling prices. And he should find out whether the calculations, additions and castings in the stock sheets are properly recorded. He should see that a responsible official signs the stock sheet. He should also see that the goods with the consignees or with the customers are valued at cost price and not the selling price. The auditor should verify whether the slow moving, obsolete and damaged goods have been listed separately and are properly valued. Next is creditors. We record creditors on the liability side of the balance sheet and it is considered to be a current liability. An auditor should get the list of creditors from the management and verify whether the schedule contains all the details about the sundry creditors. He may also obtain statement of accounts from the creditors to check the accuracy of the creditors' ledger balances. He should check the goods inwards book to ensure that all goods purchased during the year have been actually received and are duly recorded in the purchased book. If there is any debit balance in the creditors ledger, the auditor should see that they are shown on the asset side of the balance sheet. Now we have bills payable. Bills payable are recorded on the liability side of the balance sheet and it is the current liability. An auditor should obtain a schedule of bills payable and verify whether the schedule contains all the details of the bills payable. He should check the total of schedule of the bills payable with the bills payable account and the cash book. He should examine the returned bills payable, which can be taken as an evidence for the payment made for the matured bills. He should see that the bills payable which have been paid are not shown as outstanding. He should check the bills payable paid after the balance sheet but before the date of the audit with the entries made in the cash book. Lastly, we have contingent liabilities. A loss contingency, that is a probable or possible but the amount cannot be estimated, means the amount cannot be recorded in the company's accounts. Instead, it will be disclosed in the financial statements. An auditor should obtain a list of contingent liabilities which is certified from the management that has been disclosed in the financial statements. He should verify the existence of contingent liabilities by examining the accounts books, minutes books, correspondence and share certificates. If there is provision for contingent liability, the auditor should examine the minutes book or resolutions to confirm the provisions. If the provisions have not been made by the management for certain contingent liabilities and if the auditor thinks that they are likely to materialize as actual liabilities, he should insist the management to make necessary provisions for them. That contingent liabilities are properly disclosed in the balance sheet. Now we will see how to value the assets during the inflationary period. The fixed assets must be valued at replacement cost. So here replacement cost means the cost of purchasing a substitute asset for the present asset being used by a company. The fixed assets should be written up according to the market prices of assets which is prevailing on the date of balance sheet. The stock in trade must be valued at market price and depreciation must be provided on the value of stock so arrived at. And we have the index method of adjusting the accounts to reflect the changes in the purchasing power of money must be followed. So let us wind up here and we'll be back with another video. Thank you.